Have you ever wondered what happens when two of the brightest talents in women's basketball encounter, causing a whirlwind of controversy? Today we're delving into a heated rivalry that has the basketball world buzzing. Welcome to our channel, where we discuss the latest subjects in sports and beyond. This episode focuses on the tragic breakup between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. Buckle up because this is big.
And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like,
Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark have lately grabbed news and social media feeds. But what happens when adoration evolves into animosity? How did Angel Reese come to be blamed for purportedly disliking Caitlin Clark? So, what does this imply for the future of women's basketball? Let us break it down.
yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that. Like, it's not just because of one person. A lot of us have done so much for this game, and Kennedy has been here before, obviously, but there are so many great players in this league that have deserved this for a really, really long time, and luckily, it's coming now.
Caitlin Clark has been a sensation in women's basketball. It was obvious from the minute she went onto the court that she was extraordinary. Clark's incredible skill and thrilling performances have smashed records and revolutionized what a player can do.
1.5 seconds left. How did you get open, first of all?
That's a play we work on every single day in practice, and to be honest, our first look was to get a layup at the rim because we knew they had to make a call, but I kept the ball, got to go up, but honestly, I make that in practice, so when we were in the huddle, that's what I was.
Clark's ascent to fame has been nothing short of spectacular. Her performance in the NCAA tournament when she guided Iowa to the title game was a showcase for athleticism and talent. Clark's ability to score from any spot on the floor, paired with her remarkable playmaking abilities, has garnered her praise and admiration from fans and commentators alike.
Honestly, I thought it was money, so when I saw it go through the rim, I was excited, but, when I'm in here working by myself, those are the situations you put yourself in, and to be able to do it for this team on senior day, against the number 2 team in the country, it meant a lot, so to our seniors more than anything.
Clark's strategic intellect, in addition to her scoring skill, distinguishes her. Observing her play is like watching a chess grandmaster. She is always thinking about several moves ahead. Her knowledge of the game's complexities and ability to predict her opponent's movements make her a genuine game changer. Her extraordinary court vision enables her to execute plays that others may not see coming, and her accuracy in completing those plays has earned her a fan following and made her a nightmare for defenders.
It's special being able to celebrate this with my teammates and having them here and preparing for a Final Four game, but it doesn't happen without them. It doesn't happen without the amazing coaches, and to kind of end my career in this note and hopefully winning a national title would be perfect.
How do you stay focused when you go to so many things like this?
I think, my main focus is on preparing for a game. I think that's pretty easy for me. I don't think you need much motivation other than you're playing in the Final Four with a trip on the national championship on the line, so thanks.
According to her coaches and colleagues, Clark's commitment to her art is unmatched. She spends endless hours watching game footage, practicing her shot, and perfecting her talents. Her work ethic and dedication to perfection have not only advanced her game, but also established a benchmark for aspiring players worldwide. Her effect on the court is mirrored by her off-court leadership, in which she encourages and pushes her colleagues to push themselves.
We're in the huddle, that's what I was envisioning, we never stop believing, that's what our group's about, so, that was every single person. It doesn't come down to just that play. I'm glad I could step up, though.
On the opposite end of the court, we have Angel Reese. Reese is definitely a skilled player with enormous potential. Her physique and skill level make her a tough opponent. However, recent performances have been a roller coaster ride, and not necessarily in a positive manner. Reese's latest game against the New York Liberty was an especially harsh blow. Despite her desire to have a huge effect, she was dismissed from the game, leaving supporters and onlookers surprised. This was just one of the problems she had recently experienced. Over the previous 5 games, her shooting percentage has dropped to just 29%. This is a sharp contrast to her normal high-quality performance, raising questions about her present form. One of the issues leading to Reese's difficulty seems to be her shooting technique. Her unorthodox shooting technique, in which she fires from her shoulder rather than eye level, may be affecting her consistency. It's like attempting to strike a bullseye with your eyes closed. Occasionally effective, but not consistent. Coaches and pundits believe that refining her shooting form will be critical to her future success.
I think so many people are watching women's basketball right now. It all started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now.
Interviews with Reese's coaches and analysts show that she is aware of her issues and is actively striving to resolve them. The pressure to perform at a high level regularly is enormous, and Reese's desire to overcome these obstacles is admirable. Her coaches are certain that with sustained hard work and adjustments to her technique, Reese will recover her form and remain a powerful force on the court. So where does enmity come into play? The difference between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark has emphasized their particular abilities while also sparking a passionate discussion. Reese and Clark have been frequently compared, and the comparison seems to be causing some tension. The media frenzy surrounding the two athletes has fueled their animosity. Fans and critics often put them against one another, sparking controversy. Reese, who has endured hurdles and criticism, finds the frequent comparison to Clark's achievement discouraging.
But honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas, like just because of one single game.
Social media has played an important role in escalating the conflict. Twitter, Instagram, and other platforms have been buzzing with talk about the rivalry. Fans have chosen sides, with some supporting Reese and others supporting Clark. This internet discussion has only increased the strain and scrutiny on both participants. The response against Reese has been fierce, with many accusing her of harboring bad thoughts towards Clark despite her difficulties. The story has grown more complicated, with public opinions often impacted by the continuous drama and media representation. Sports commentators have chimed in, providing a variety of viewpoints on the disagreement. Some say that the media's focus on the rivalry hurts both players and the sport as a whole. Others argue that drama provides excitement and interest, but it may also reinforce negative storylines. Statements from prominent basketball personalities have fueled the dispute. Cheryl Swoops, a WNBA great, made news when she failed to include Clark in her latest podcast about the Indiana Fever. Many saw this absence as a slur against Clark, sparking more debate.
Here's what Cheryl Swoops had to say. Look at this quote here. I think the Olympic break really helped Indiana. I'm going to shout out to Lexi Hull. I'm a big Lexi Hull fan. Lexi Hull shot the leather off the ball in their game against Seattle. Kelsey Mitchell is just stroking. She's just shooting the basketball. Aaliyah Boston, almost a triple-double. If Indiana continues to play the way they're playing like this, they too are going to move up in the standings, end quote.
Swoops discussed various players and teams on her podcast, but she should have mentioned Caitlin Clark. Fans or commentators did not overlook this absence. Some saw it as a deliberate snub, sparking suspicion about underlying tensions and prejudices. Stephen A. Smith, renowned for his outspoken comments, chimed in on the subject, expressing his displeasure with Swoops' statements. Smith said that Swoops' unwillingness to recognize Clark's achievements was deliberate and unjust. His remarks fueled an already heated debate, with Smith emphasizing the need to recognize and appreciate all of the sport's greatest performers.
There seems to be some haterade in the league in regards to Clark, starting with WNBA legend Cheryl Swoops herself. She recently spoke on her podcast, Queens of the Court, and didn't mention the rookie when speaking of Indiana's rise in the standings.
The criticism of Swoops, as well as the greater conversation concerning Clark and Reese, have highlighted not just the players' relationships, but also fundamental concerns inside the WNBA. Clark is surrounded by a palpable tension, which is fueled in part by her spectacular ascent and the attention it brings. Caitlin Clark's impact goes beyond her on-court accomplishments. Her presence has dramatically increased viewership and interest in the WNBA. Clark's vibrant production and fascinating plot established new attendance and engagement records.
And that's Caitlin Clark herself of the WNBA. Let's get to the WNBA and this sensational rookie from the Indiana Fever who continues to be box office. Clark and the Fever currently lead the WNBA in average game attendance and per game TV viewership. But despite the attendance and viewership records,
Clark's games have become must-watch events, attracting enormous viewers and creating tremendous hype. Her ability to thrive under pressure and generate highlight reel moments has captivated spectators and drawn new attention to the league. The increase in viewing shows the rising popularity of women's basketball and the role of elite players such as Clark in promoting that development. Shannon Sharp has commended Clark for her ability to attract audiences and encourage new admirers. Sharp's delight reflects a greater admiration for Clark's Clark's contributions to the sport and her involvement in raising the WNBA's visibility. His words highlight Clark's beneficial influence on the league and the sport in general.
Had another monster game. She had 28 points, 12 assists, and a 193 win over the Dallas Wings today that pushed the Indiana Fever over 500 for the first time in 5 years. The Fever improved to 17-16 with a victory.
Aside from the court, Clark has been active in a variety of community programs and events. Her interaction with fans and commitment to making a difference off the court boost her reputation and impact. Clark's dedication to using her platform for good exemplifies the positive impact athletes can have on society. The matchup between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark is more than just two players. It represents a larger story in women's basketball, reflecting themes of empowerment, resilience, and the challenges that athletes face in the spotlight.
In 89 straight games without a winning record, a WNBA record. Indiana earned a win despite a record-tying 9 3-pointers by Enrique Ogunbowale.
Symbols of the sport's changing landscape. Clark's success exemplifies the limitless possibilities that emerge when talent and opportunity combine. On the other hand, Reese's struggles highlight the difficulties that even the best players face and the importance of resilience in overcoming adversity. Their stories highlight the ups and downs of athletic careers and the perseverance required for success. Young players look up to Reese and Clark as role models. Their travels inspire the next generation of athletes who view their challenges and victories as part of their potential path. Their experiences have an influence not just on the field, but also on aspiring players and spectators. The future of women's basketball is bright yet tough. With increased viewership and endorsements, athletes like Clark and Reese have a chance to define the sport's future. However, they are also under intense pressure to perform and preserve their public personalities.
That's all you can do is, hold your head high, be proud of what you did, and, all the credit in the world to LSU. They were tremendous. They deserve it. They had a tremendous season. Kim Mulkey coached them so well. She's one of the best basketball coaches of all time, and it shows. And she only said really kind things to me in the handshake line, so I'm very grateful for that too. But honestly, I have no idea, and I was just trying to, spend the last few moments on the court with, especially the 5 people that I've started 93 games with, and relishing every second of that.
New leagues like Unrivaled are forming, offering to shake up the scene even more. These leagues provide new opportunities and platforms for players, potentially altering the dynamics of women's basketball. As Clark continues to dominate the WNBA, concerns emerge about whether she would seek options outside the league. Her effect on the sport might lead to new avenues and possibilities, but her dedication to the WNBA remains a matter of inquiry. The creation of new leagues and the expansion of established ones represent the evolving landscape of women's basketball. As more players achieve prominence and the sport continues to expand, the competition and possibilities will only rise. Players like Clark and Reese will play crucial roles in molding the future of the game, both on and off the court.
Thinks that we're at each other, but me and her know, and that's all that matters. I don't care about anything that's negative. When you know the person and you know that what their genuine intentions are, and just being able to know that we did something big, and just being able to know we grew women's basketball, but then that's all that matters. And we play against each other again, we're going to compete again and always have fun after. So I'm just having fun, just being competitive as I always have.
The media has an important influence in creating popular opinions and narratives about athletics. The way tales are told may shape how athletes are seen and affect their careers. The media's attention on the competition between Clark and Reese has led to the continuing dispute. Headlines and news segments focusing on the conflict between Clark and Reese have heightened the drama, often overshadowing their accomplishments and contributions to the sport. The media's focus on conflict and competitiveness may lead to a polarized view of the players, affecting their public image. According to media analysts, how athletes are portrayed in the media frequently reflects larger cultural trends and interests. While interest in rivalries and scandals may increase viewing and engagement, it can also distract from the good parts of athletes' careers and successes. Individual player stress may have an impact on team chemistry as well. While Reese and Clark's rivalry is personal, it has the potential to impact the climate inside their respective teams. Coaches and teammates often have to negotiate these relationships while remaining focused on the team's ultimate objectives.
How misconceived is your relationship with Caitlin Clark?
Say it again?
Misconceived. How misconceived?
Oh, I love
is y'all?
Caitlin. I mean, we were just talking about that. Me and her have always been competing each other since we were in high school and just AAU days. I mean, I love that. And hopefully one day we can even be teammates and just understand that she's a great player, a great person, a great shooter. And I just love everything that she's doing for the game and what we both were able to do for the game as well.
How cool was it to see her come to bat for you?
Yeah.
After the
Coaches and teammates play critical roles in mitigating the impact of external controversies on team performance. Their assistance and guidance are critical in keeping players focused and fostering a positive team environment. The ability to manage personal conflicts and channel them into positive team dynamics can be a critical factor in success. Despite the external turbulence, Reese and Clark continue to make major contributions to their teams. Their performances and leadership on the court are still important to their teams.
I think just reflecting back over my 4 years I'm very grateful starting and playing in front of absolutely no one during COVID. And then obviously my sophomore year, we had good crowds. The curtains were down a lot of the games, and now it's impossible to get a ticket to get in the door to our games. So, I think the people that have made it the most special, obviously my teammates, my coaches, but it isn't what it is without all of you. So seriously, I mean that, and I thank you. And this is special. I don't know if you guys realize what you're doing for women's basketball and women's sports in general, but you're changing it. You're helping us change it. So seriously, from the bottom of my heart, from all of us, we thank you so much. And I just feel really grateful to be here, and I put on an Iowa jersey for 4 years. But like Coach Bluder and Kate said, like, there's still so much more fun to have, and we're not done.
There is.
Balancing personal rivalry with team objectives is a continuous task that demands perseverance and professionalism. The situation involving Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark has broader implications for women's sports. Female athletes' visibility and scrutiny highlight ongoing challenges and opportunities for women in sports.
Thinks that we're at each other, but me and her know, and that's all that matters. I don't care about anything that's negative. When you know the person and you know that what their genuine intentions are, and just being able to know that we did something big, and just being able to know we grew women's basketball, but then that's all that matters. And we play against each other again. We're going to compete again and always have fun after. So I'm just having fun, just being competitive as I always have.
Female athletes have made considerable progress in recent years, completing astounding feats and receiving widespread acclaim. However, issues including gender prejudice, media portrayal, and uneven opportunity continue. The emphasis on particular rivalry may often conceal the larger concerns confronting women in sports. Interviews with female athletes and campaigners emphasize the necessity of tackling larger concerns and creating positive change. Advocates also emphasize the need for continuous support and acknowledgement of women's accomplishments and attempts to enhance representation and equality in athletics. In conclusion, the conflict between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark is a microcosm of the bigger story in women's basketball. Their different journeys illustrate the intricacies of the sport and the hardships encountered by competitors at the top level. As Clark continues to make headlines and Reese strives to overcome her challenges, their tales show the dynamic and growing character of women's basketball.
Caitlin, can you tell us at the end of the game what happened? There's a lot blown up on Twitter about Angel Reese following you around, pointing to her ring finger and taunting you?
Honestly, I have no idea. I was just trying to get to the handshake line and shake hands and, be grateful that my team was in that position.
What are your thoughts on the conflict between Reese and Clark? How do you see their rivalry shaping the future of women's basketball? Please share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more updates on the world of sports. Hit the bell button never to miss a new video. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for our next video where we'll discuss the most recent developments and hot topics in sports. See you next time. Lynn Dunn, the famous general manager of the Indiana Fever, has had enough. She is a seasoned veteran of the game who has seen both the highs and lows of professional basketball. But what she's seeing today has pushed her to the edge, leading her to speak out with genuine conviction. What triggered the event? None other than the unrelenting and some say deadly roughness that Caitlin Clark has faced on the court. This isn't just another day in the WNBA. It's a crisis in the making, and Dunn is prepared to act.
Amazing. It's amazing. I cannot believe that many people are here just for the draft party. It's such an exciting moment. We're thrilled to select with the first pick Caitlin Clark.
But what's really going on here? Is this simply another chapter in the WNBA's illustrious history, or is something more important emerging before our eyes? Let's go into the facts, unpack the difficulties, and find out why Lynn Dunn, one of the most respected personalities in women's basketball, is suddenly demanding quick action. Lynn Dunn's interest extends beyond basketball to the fundamental fabric of the game. Dunn's perspective is unique as the Indiana Fever's general manager. She's seen the league's evolution throughout the years, including the growth of players, the intensity of rivalries, and the rising fan base. But what she sees today is different, and it troubles her terribly.
You're changing it, you're helping us change it, so seriously, from the bottom of my heart, from all of us, we thank you so much, and I just feel really grateful to be here.
Dunn is especially concerned with Caitlin Clark's supporters' conduct and the more violent techniques employed against her on the court. It's one thing to play rough. Basketball, after all, is a contact sport. But when does toughness become dangerous? That is the question Dunn is asking, and it has sparked a passionate discussion within the WNBA community. Caitlin Clark, with her evident skill and compelling charisma, has emerged as the league's lightning rod. Her supporters are fervent, her opponents are tenacious, and the result is a level of ferocity that is making headlines throughout the sport. Dunn is frustrated not just with the physical play, but also with how the game is developing, or maybe devolving, in reaction to the demands that come with Clark's ascension. Caitlin Clark's influence in the WNBA cannot be emphasized enough. She's more than simply another player, she's a sensation. Clark is creating waves on the floor, turning heads, and pushing opponents to reconsider their strategy. He averages 16.3 points, 6 assists, and 4.9 rebounds per game. But what's occurring off the field is absolutely astounding. Clark's presence has directly contributed to an increase in WNBA attendance and fan engagement. In Los Angeles, 19,033 people have come to witness her performance. In Washington, the attendance was even higher. 20,333 people packed the arena to see Caitlin Clark perform. These metrics are more than just numbers. They reflect the WNBA's burgeoning popularity, which is propelled in large part by Clark's spectacular performances.
I'm very grateful starting and playing in front of absolutely no one during COVID, and then obviously my sophomore year we had good crowds, the curtains were down a lot of the games, and now...
However, all of this prosperity has brought along a new set of obstacles. As Clark continues to dominate, she becomes a target. The brutality aimed against her is rising, and it's more than simply difficult defense. It's about survival. Opponents are pushing the envelope, testing the limits, and in some instances, crossing the line. That's where the real issue is. The WNBA has always distinguished itself by its physicality. However, there is a distinction between playing hard and dirty, and that line is getting more blurred. Caitlin Clark is at the heart of this argument, since she encounters physical obstacles on the court that some feel exceed what is appropriate in competitive play.
Seattle, and all of a sudden, we're pretty close. This has been as close as it's been all second quarter long, 44.
Remember when Clark was hip-checked by Chennedy Carter, or when she clashed with Angel Reese? These aren't isolated events. They're part of a wider trend that's forming throughout the league. Clark has spoken out about the treatment she is undergoing, stating, "I feel like I'm getting hammered." For a player of her level to raise such worries is significant. It indicates that something has to change. The roughness thrown toward Clark is more than simply strong defense. It's about delivering a message, but what's the message? Is Clark too good, oppressive, or threatening? Or is it something more sinister, referring to larger flaws inside the league? These are the questions posed by fans, players, coaches, and experts alike. As the physicality goes up, so too does the discussion. Where do we distinguish between competitive play and harmful behavior? What constitutes appropriate on-court behavior, and when does it become excessive? These are the problems that are now front of mind in the WNBA, and Lynn Dunn is determined to solve them. Caitlin Clark's handling of the court has elicited different reactions. On one side, some supporters are upset, believing that Clark is being unjustly targeted and that the brutality she is experiencing is not simply part of the game, but a purposeful effort to bring her down. These supporters are loud, passionate, and demanding change.
An accidental collision with Caitlin Clark. You see it right there. personnel crowds around her. She ended up being okay. She said she was fine. She just got the wind knocked out of her a little bit.
On the other hand, others contend that this is just basketball. It's a rigorous sport, and if you want to be the greatest, you must be able to manage the physical demands. For some followers, Clark's situation is merely part of the game, a necessary hurdle that she must face if she wants to compete at the greatest level. But it's not only the fans who are split, the league itself is debating how to react. WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert recognized the problem, saying, "I believe everyone is watching Caitlin, so their emphasis is solely on Caitlin. But when compared to other games with additional players, it is a physical game." Engelbert's remarks underline the bigger context. The WNBA is a rough league, and Caitlin Clark isn't the only one dealing with these issues.
Yeah, I mean, her first month in W, obviously, aside from the numbers, the viewership, the attendance, the way that she plays the game, you know, she's ultra competitive. Her ability to really stretch the floor and find her teammates. Obviously, there is a learning curve. And
however, Engelbert's words pose serious considerations. Is Clark's physicality merely a facet of the game, or is there more to it? Is the league doing enough to safeguard its players, particularly its superstars? What message is being sent to the next generation of players and fans? These are the concerns that are rising to the forefront as the discussion around Caitlin Clark and the physicality of the WNBA heats up. So what precisely does Lynn Dunn propose? Dunn's strong words make it plain that she is unwilling to sit back and watch while the game she loves is imperiled. She is asking for quick action, urging the league to intervene and address the problem of physicality before it is too late.
About 20 seconds, maybe 15.
Why that long?
I don't know. They made me pause. You know, the league. You gotta follow the directions.
Dunn isn't just speaking out, she's taking action. She allegedly submitted game videos to the league headquarters, underlining the risky play that she feels is endangering players like Caitlin Clark. Dunn's commitment is palpable. She's not just talking the talk, she's living the walk, leading by example for everyone participating in the game. But what fueled Lynn Dunn's ardent determination? Why is she so adamant about cleaning up the game, safeguarding the athletes, and maintaining the WNBA's integrity? The answer is rooted in her profound passion for the game, dedication to the league, and conviction that basketball can and should be better. Dunn's call to action applies to the whole league, not just one player or club. She's making a strong message about the significance of safeguarding star players, establishing a high standard for the whole WNBA, and keeping the game fair and safe for everyone on the field.
One of our biggest wins of the season so far was our first win at Phoenix. I think that really kind of boosted us into how we're playing basketball right now.
As the WNBA expands and evolves, physicality will remain a major concern. The league is at a crossroads, and the choices made over the next several months and years will significantly influence its future. If the league can find a way to combine toughness and safety, protecting its players while maintaining the game's purity, it has the potential to reach new heights. The WNBA has the potential to serve as a model for other sports leagues, demonstrating that it is feasible to play intense competitive basketball without jeopardizing player safety.
Left to go. How important was it for this group to come out after the break and get the win?
Yeah, it's huge. I think it sets the tone of where we want to be the rest of the season. So to grind this one out and get it done, I think is just a step in the right direction. But it's one at a time, and we have another big one Sunday.
However, if the league fails to handle the problem, the ramifications might be severe. Players might continue to get injured, the game's quality could deteriorate, and spectators could lose faith. The WNBA risks losing its momentum and its status as one of the most entertaining and dynamic sports leagues in the world. The WNBA's future is in the balance, and choices taken now will define the league for years to come. It is a watershed moment in the league's history, and players, fans, and the media will all be paying careful attention. To summarize, Lynn Dunn's call to action is about more than simply Caitlin Clark. It is about the future of the WNBA. The league is at a watershed moment as it deals with the problem of physicality and its influence on the game.
Yeah, I think just when I can get going early, that's when I really settle into the game and feel comfortable. And I think my third quarter wasn't great, but yeah, I think there's times where we would have crumbled, but we just kept battling and fighting, and I thought it was a really good win for us.
Dunn's drive to safeguard the players, maintain the league's integrity, and guarantee that the WNBA stays fair and safe reflects her passion for the sport. She is not just speaking out, she is also acting, setting an example for everyone participating in the game. The fight about Caitlin Clark and the WNBA has not ended, and it will continue to define the league's future. However, one thing is certain, the WNBA is a league worth fighting for, and it can achieve unprecedented heights.
Outside these 12, but know that Caitlin is going to have a bright future with USA Basketball, and I think, you know, the points that she made, she's even more motivated, more hungry, and just knowing that her time is going to come.
As fans, players, and the media continue to weigh in on this topic, the WNBA's future will be molded by the choices made today. It is a watershed event in the league's history, with long-term implications for the game. So where are we going from here? The solution is up to the league, the players, and the fans. It is up to all of us to keep the WNBA a league we can be proud of, one that is tough, competitive, and fair. And with leaders like Lynn Dunn at the forefront, there's little question the WNBA is in capable hands. In recent years, the world of sports has seen a stunning surge in the importance of women's athletics, a phenomenon that has not only reshaped the playing field, but also challenged long-held beliefs. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese are two amazing athletes who are leading the charge. While their paths have been different, their influence on the sports world has been nothing short of revolutionary. On the one hand, Caitlin Clark's recent accomplishments have established new standards, captivated audiences, and inspired young athletes throughout the world. Angel Reese's climb to celebrity, on the other hand, has been welcomed with both affection and condemnation, especially when Dan Patrick publicly rejected her. These incidents provoked extensive discussion, shedding light on larger themes such as gender, media coverage, and the changing face of women's sports.
So it's no fun, but I know me and Caitlin will go at it if anything, just out of competition though. She wants to win, I want to win, and we're both just two great players that want to compete.
Angel Reese, noted for her basketball skills, has swiftly become a household figure in the world of women's sports. Reese, who was born and reared in Baltimore, Maryland, has achieved great success through dedication and perseverance. Her early career saw her excel in high school basketball, where she won multiple awards and established records. Reese's adjustment to collegiate basketball was simple, and she immediately established herself as a major player for the University of Maryland's women's basketball team. Her NCAA achievements have been nothing short of outstanding, and her ability to score, rebound, and defend makes her one of the league's most versatile players. However, Reese's journey to celebrity has been subject to controversy. Her bold and outspoken personality has made her a divisive figure in the sporting world. Some like her outspoken attitude, while others criticize her for what they see as arrogance. Regardless of the conflicting comments, there is little doubt that Reese has had a huge influence on women's basketball. Her ability to attract attention, both on and off the court, has raised the sport's popularity and sparked debate regarding the public image of female athletes.
Reese the old board, Reese the putback.
Offensive board leads the WNBA in that category. Well done.
Caitlin Clark, on the other hand, has stunned the basketball world with her exceptional skill and competitive passion. Clark, who grew up in West Des Moines, Iowa, started playing basketball at an early age. Her enthusiasm for the game was obvious from the outset, and she soon rose to the ranks of high school standouts, smashing records and receiving national acclaim as one of the best prospects. Clark's transition to college basketball was punctuated by a number of standout performances that cemented her position as a budding talent. She has frequently given jaw-dropping performances while playing for the University of Iowa, including many 40-point games and clutch shots that have astounded fans and observers.
Yeah, I think for me, anytime you go up against somebody that's super competitive and, you know, has that same drive and will to win, that's what you love. That's what competitors love. These type of games is what makes our game so great.
Clark's effect on the game extends beyond her remarkable stats. Her playing style, which features a deadly mix of shooting, passing, and court vision, has distinguished her from her colleagues. She has been likened to some of the best players in the sport's history, and her ability to produce under pressure has given her the distinction of being one of the game's most clutch players. As her fame rises, Clark's impact goes beyond the court, motivating a new generation of players and redefining women's basketball expectations.
Minutes. Clark, the flick ahead. Oh, what a dime from Clark and Jones.
Dan Patrick, a well-known character in sports journalism, has long been recognized for his honest thoughts and important voice in the profession. His opinion on sporting events and athletes often has a substantial impact, molding public perception and provoking debate among fans and specialists. However, his recent comments regarding Angel Reese have sparked widespread outrage, highlighting the intricacies of media portrayal and the problems that female athletes face.
She didn't speak to the media after the game against Caitlin Clark, but a member of the Chicago Sky, the national title winner.
The event in issue happened during one of Patrick's radio appearances when he publicly chastised Angel Reese for what he saw as unsportsmanlike behavior during a major game. Patrick's disapproval of Reese extended beyond her on-court activities. He also criticized her confident demeanor and outspoken temperament, implying that she needed to tone down her personality if she wanted to be taken seriously in the sports world. These remarks instantly went viral, sparking a flurry of responses on social media and throughout the sports world.
If she would have left it with what she had to say right before the last couple of words, I would have been fine with it. She's embraced the villain. She understands social media. She's done quite well.
The consequences of Patrick's rejection of Reese go beyond her career. It emphasizes the continual fight for female athletes to be recognized and acknowledged on par with their male counterparts. Reese's experience serves as a reminder that despite the progress achieved in women's sports, major hurdles need to be overcome. The event also highlights the role of media coverage in molding public impressions of athletes, especially female athletes, as well as the need for a more egalitarian and inclusive approach to sports criticism.
But her attention, her notoriety is based off Caitlin Clark. Because she wins the national title, first thing she does, she mocks Caitlin Clark.
While Angel Reese dealt with the consequences of Dan Patrick's criticism, Caitlin Clark was creating history on the basketball court. Clark performed a masterclass in scoring, passing, and leadership during a recent game that has been recognized as one of the finest performances in college basketball history. Her effort not only helped her team win a key game, but also established a new bar for what is possible in women's basketball. Clark's game-changing moves extended beyond her performance on the court. Off the court, she has been a vocal champion for gender equality in sports, utilizing her position to highlight the discrepancies between men's and women's athletics. Her stance has resonated with both fans and other athletes, gaining her great affection and respect. Clark's initiatives have also highlighted the need for more investment in women's sports, ranging from improved facilities and resources to expanded media coverage and commercial possibilities.
Holly's fighting through it today. Here's Clark bodying in and banking it home.
The cultural significance of Clark's recent acts cannot be emphasized. Her success has inspired a new generation of athletes, especially young girls, who regard her as a role model for what they may do. The media coverage of her accomplishments has also led to a change in the narrative around women's basketball, with greater emphasis placed on the ability, talent, and competition of female players. This increased awareness can draw more fans to the sport, resulting in additional chances for women's basketball at all levels. Clark's effect is seen on a global scale. Her triumph has rekindled interest in women's basketball in places where male sports have historically dominated the sport. International fans have taken note of her skills, and there is rising speculation regarding her future in professional basketball, whether in the WNBA or elsewhere. Clark's ascent to fame exemplifies the ability of sports to cross boundaries and bring people together, and her influence on the game will be felt for years.
Hit the three in the corner, Boston the rebound. Clark, a good look. She got it.
Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese's experiences provide a captivating case study on the interaction of gender, media, and sports. The way these two athletes are depicted in the press indicates a lot about the difficulties that female athletes experience in achieving the same degree of notoriety and respect as male competitors. It also emphasizes the importance of media coverage in molding public opinions and larger cultural narratives around sports. Caitlin Clark, on the other hand, has received much acclaim for her confidence and competitive spirit, raising issues about why the same attributes are valued differently in different athletes. Part of the answer might be the way the media develops storylines around certain athletes, which are often based on preconceived assumptions of what a female athlete should look like. These myths are tough to dispel, and they influence how the public perceives athletics.
Listen, I believed in her from day one. We knew that she would only get better and better. She's averaging 17.8 points this season, 41% shooting, 33% from three-point range, leading the league in assists her last 5 games, Shannon.
Social media has also had a significant impact on how the public perceives Clark and Reese. Platforms such as Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok have allowed athletes direct access to their followers, enabling them to manage their narratives to a degree. However, social media can be a two-edged sword, amplifying both good and negative criticism. criticism. Reese describes social media as a war where she has had to defend herself against detractors while simultaneously creating a dedicated audience. Clark has used it as a platform to exhibit her accomplishments and communicate with people all around the globe.
Obviously, people don't understand, like, if they think it's personal, but when I get between the lines, if friends or anything, if my teammate right here went to play for another team.
The interaction of gender, media, and sports is complicated and influenced by a range of elements, such as societal expectations, media practices, and individual personalities. Clark and Reese's tales underscore the need for a more nuanced approach to sports criticism, one that acknowledges the specific problems that female athletes confront and attempts to encourage, rather than criticize them. As the media landscape evolves, there is a potential to create a more fair and welcoming atmosphere for all athletes, regardless of gender. This increased exposure has the potential to open up new options for female athletes, notably in terms of sponsorship and financial assistance. As more people become aware of the potential in women's sports, businesses may be more willing to invest in female athletes and provide them with the resources they need to thrive. This in turn might set off a virtuous cycle in which higher investment leads to improved performance, which attracts more fans and investment. However, some issues must be addressed. The occurrences involving Dan Patrick and Angel Reese illustrate the persistent problem of gender prejudice in sports and the need for more fair and inclusive media portrayal. There is also the matter of how to maintain the momentum created by the achievements of players such as Clark and Reese. While their tales have drawn attention to women's sports, this focus must result in long-term change rather than just a fleeting fad.
Angel Reese following you around, pointing to her ring finger and taunting you?
Honestly, I have no idea. I was just trying to get to the handshake line and shake hands and, be grateful that my team was in that position.
A variety of variables, including sustained athlete advocacy, changes in media practices, and growing sponsorship and fan investment, are expected to define the future of women's sports. Women's sports are increasingly being seen as deserving of the same amount of attention and respect as men's sports, and the tales of Clark and Reese are contributing to this shift. As more people become aware of female athletes' skills and efforts, women's sports chances will expand. As we look forward, the tales of Clark and Reese remind us of the necessity of encouraging and promoting women's sports. By recognizing and honoring female athletes' accomplishments, we can contribute to a more inclusive, equal, and exciting sports environment for everyone. We can all help shape the future of sports by increasing funding, improving media coverage, or just turning up to support women's sports. And as Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese have shown, the future is bright.